Okay, let's talk about pricing. And I mean really talk about it because it is so much more than just a number on a tag. It's psychology, it's strategy, and honestly, when you get it right, it's one of the most powerful tools in all of marketing. Today, we're gonna crack open the marketer's toolbox to see exactly how it all works. Let's do it. I mean, think about it. We all know it's just one penny difference, right? Our logical brain is screaming, it's basically the same thing. But it just doesn't feel that way, does it? There's a really powerful psychological pull happening here, and it's a trick that marketers have absolutely mastered. So what's the big secret?
Exactly. It's not some kind of dark art. It's just smart marketing psychology. So let's imagine we've got this big pricing toolbox. We're going to open it right up and take a good look at the most effective tools inside. You ready?
All right, first up, we're diving straight into the mind games. Yep, you heard me. These are the super clever, kind of subtle techniques that influence how we perceive value, often without us even realizing it's happening.
Okay, so the first tool we're pulling out is something called anchoring. Here's the deal. Our brains, well, they love a shortcut. And the very first price we see for something, bam, it gets locked in our head and becomes our mental anchor. Every other price we see after that gets judged against that first number.
And this is a perfect example of how it works. You're walking past a shop, you see a sign was 120 pounds, now just 80. That 120 is the anchor. So now 80 pounds doesn't just feel like 80 pounds, it feels like you're getting away with a massive 40-pound saving. It feels like a steal. And even if that jacket was never really meant to sell for 120, that anchor did its job. So let's circle back to that $9.99 versus 10 pounds thing. This is a classic move called charm pricing. You see, with odd pricing, like $9.99, our brain reads from left to right, it sees the 9 first, and we basically round down in our heads. It feels like 9 and a bit, a bargain. But on the other side, a nice, clean 100 pounds, that sends a totally different message. It signals premium, quality. It's something you'd expect from a luxury brand that isn't trying to pretend it's the cheapest. Okay, now this next one, this is sneaky, in a good way. It's called the decoy effect. This is where a marketer introduces a third option, one that's not very attractive, for one reason and one reason only, to make one of the other options look like an absolute no-brainer. It's all about framing that choice. And the cinema popcorn is the perfect example. Check this out. A small is 3 quid. A large is 7. That's a pretty big jump. But wait, they add a medium for £6.50. Now you're thinking, hold on, for just 50p more, I can get the large? And just like that, the large looks like the best deal on the planet. The medium? That's the decoy. It's not really meant to be bought. It's just there to make you buy the large. Genius, right? Okay, let's put the psychology down for a second and grab our next tool. We're moving from the mind games to something a bit more analytical. Let's fire up the old price-o-meter and talk about something called price elasticity of demand. Now, I know that sounds a bit textbooky, but trust me, it's a super important concept. The easiest way to get your head around it is to ask this. Is your product's demand like a stretchy rubber band, or is it like a rigid steel spring? If it's elastic, a tiny change in price makes demand stretch or snap back in a big way. A brand of cereal goes up 50p, people will just stretch over and grab another brand. But if it's inelastic, demand is rigid. The price of petrol goes up, well, you still need to get to work, so you grit your teeth and buy it anyway. Demand stays pretty stable. And here's why that is so crucial. Understanding your product's elasticity is basically like having a marketing superpower. If your demand is elastic, a price cut could lead to a massive boost in sales and revenue. But if it's inelastic, you might be able to raise your prices and increase profits without losing many customers. It's fundamental to any smart strategy. All right, time for the final set of tools from our box. And this is the shiny high-tech stuff. These are the digital gadgets that have completely changed the pricing game. We're talking data, algorithms, the whole shebang.
So here's a quick look at what's in the modern marketer's arsenal. You've got software that watches your competitors' prices 24/7. You have dynamic pricing engines, yep, like Uber. You've got A/B testing to find that perfect price point, personalized offers through things like the Tesco Club Card, and even electronic labels that can change prices in a store in seconds.
Let's look at dynamic pricing, because we've all experienced this one. It's late, it's raining, and an Uber fare suddenly costs twice as much. Whoa, that's not a person deciding that. It's a smart algorithm. It sees demand is high, supply is low, and it automatically adjusts the price in real time to balance everything out. And then there's personalization. Loyalty schemes like the Tesco Club Card are tracking what you buy, and then that system uses the data to send you coupons and special offers on the products you actually want.
It makes you feel understood and valued, which, of course, makes you much more likely to keep shopping there. It's a win-win. So, we've unpacked psychology, analytics, and technology from our toolbox. The real key takeaway isn't just knowing these tools exist, but understanding that the best strategies use all three together. But, with all that power comes some pretty serious responsibility.
So let's do a super quick recap of the toolbox. You start with the mind games of psychology to frame value. You test your ideas against the hard numbers of the elasticity test, and you execute it all with the speed and precision of the digital toolkits. See how they all work together?
And that brings us to the most important part of this whole conversation. It's no accident that your apprenticeship standard highlights ethical behavior. Fusing psychology with powerful data gives you incredible influence, but it must be used to build long-term trust, not to mislead people for a quick win. A was price has to be a genuine previous price. Transparency is absolutely key. Being an effective marketer means being an ethical one. Period.
So there you have it, a peek inside the pricing toolbox. And my challenge to you is this. As you go about your day, in the supermarket, browsing online, or booking a train ticket, just keep your eyes open. Now that you know the secrets, how many of these strategies can you spot out there in the wild? You might be surprised. Thanks for tuning in.